Hi, my name's Tom Shue, and today I wanted to share with you a project I've been working on. What this is an intro. It's only 6 seconds long, but it's an intro that I plan on using for my videos and things that I create. If you don't know, I'll tell you now that I've been into 3D motion graphics and animation for many years. Uh, Photography is one aspect of my creative world that I live in. However, what I wanted to show you is an integration in a pipeline. When you work with Adobe products, for example, you might work with Lightroom and Photoshop, maybe Illustrator or Flash, or it could be Dreamweaver, and you might hand files off between those programs. Well, other programs incorporate with Adobe products such as After Effects, Premiere Pro, and Photoshop. And this package here, this is a 3D animation program that I use called Cinema 4D. What this allows me to do is create 3D objects and animate them, and then render them in a way that basically in photography where you realize a vision with what's in front of you. This lets you create a vision from scratch. Okay, so what I did was I envisioned this logo that rotated around in some glass blocks that would reveal the text through these transparent blocks. So if you come here, you can see that there's a camera. Okay, so I'd turn off that camera, and this camera is an animated view. So I can come around the scene. If we want to come over to the text, I'll zoom in and you'll see that I've got my name 3 different ways. I also have this thing called a cloner object that made a bunch of these different looking long cubes that I turned into rectangles, randomly dispersed through the scene, and then I put an animation on it so that if I come back to this camera, you can see this is the view that you would see, and if we play the animation, it rotates around and it creates it. So after you do this, you notice we've got down here a bunch of frames. There's 200 frames to this because it plays at 30 frames a second like a flip book. However, each one of those frames is an individual picture, just like you would do in a time-lapse photography setup. So I'll show you what happens. After you get everything the way you want it, you tell it what size you want it and what kind of quality you're looking for, and then you render out that file. When you get done rendering the file, you're going to end up with a bunch of still images. Okay, so if we just previewed one of these, it would open up in Photoshop, but you can see that this is like a flip book. So we've got 200 of these images. So once you've got those images, you can render. This is called an image sequence, and you can bring it in and create an animation. So this is what the animation would look like. Okay, this is not completed animation. This is just what it would look like. So 200 frames will give us this 6 seconds worth of animation. So it reveals my logo and then hides away. So what we would do is we would take these rendered images and we'd bring them in to After Effects, which is an Adobe product. So we'll bring them in, and this is where we start to get creative with it. We created the 3D geometry and we animated in Cinema 4D, and then we imported that sequence inside After Effects. And in this one, you can see that I've created like a blurred layer on top. So if you look at this adjustment layer, we can turn off different layers. So for example, this would be the blur ramp. This is the mask that I use to hide for a tilt shift effect, which is only allowing this stuff to be in focus. If you look at this right here, this is my mask that I created to give it some depth, kind of like fogginess. And then I also did some adjustments to create a color change and some different effects. So when you get done with this, you render out this file. Okay, so now that we've handed it off into After Effects, and you would get something that looks like this animation. So we've done our color correction, we've put our blur in our animation, and it kind of finishes up your final vision. So after you get done with that, you're going to bring it in and put some audio with it and put it with your videos. So this is what I've been working on for the last couple of days, and I finally finished it last night, and I wanted to share that with you. So if you guys want to know what's going on with me, I'm always doing something, and I want to appreciate you guys for stopping by my blog today. And until next time, we'll see you soon.